Good evening. Today is July 13th, and today I'll continue to talk about coronavirus. So the first piece of news that I'd like to talk about is California. With coronavirus cases surging in California, Governor Gavin Newsom announced one of the most sweeping rollbacks of any state's reopening plans, saying today that he would move to close indoor operations statewide for restaurants, wineries, movie theaters, zoos, and card rooms. Bars would be forced to close all operations. The governor also said that in at least 30 of the hardest hit counties, businesses would be forced to close indoor operations for fitness centers, places of worship, non-critical offices, hair salons and barbershops, and malls. Roughly 80% of the state's population lives in the affected counties, he said. This is due to California averaging more than 8,000 new cases a day as of Sunday, more than double what it was a month ago. This state now has the second highest tally in the nation with 331,626 cases and more than 7,000 deaths. So basically, California is just going back into a modification mode of our original stay-at-home order as coronavirus continues to be a deadly disease ravaging California. Mr. Newsom emphasized that state officials have repeatedly said that the state's reopening process will be more akin to a dimmer switch than an on-or-off switch. Mr. Newsom made the announcement after California's two largest public school districts said today that instruction will be remote only in the fall, citing concerns that increasing cases in their areas pose too dire a risk for students and teachers. The two districts are the Los Angeles and San Diego Unified School Districts, which together enroll some 825,000 students, are the largest in the country so far to abandon plans for even a partial physical return to classrooms when they reopen in August. More than a third of California's cases are in Los Angeles County, and San Diego County has had 18 community outbreaks over the past week, more than double the state's acceptable threshold. So currently where I live in Santa Clara County, I think many districts have already said that classes will probably be online as well, and I think honestly, while this may be a good news to the public in fighting this disease, it's honestly kind of depressing for the students, as staying at home and learning it's just not as good as in-person schooling, as in-person schooling allows us to socialize more and we actually learn better in in-person situations. The second piece of news I'd like to talk about is testing. Manufacturers have contributed to the dire state of testing in the U.S., including surging case counts, overwhelmed labs, and inadequate supplies. But there's one bottleneck that is severely hampering the country's response to the pandemic: the humble fax machine. Before the pandemic, nearly 90% of test results for diseases tracked by public health departments were sent digitally. But the high demand for coronavirus testing has brought many new clinics and companies into the world of public health, and not all of them have invested in the software that is required for secure electronic communications. Instead, they often turn to faxes, which are cheap and meet digital privacy standards. However, this has led to blurry printouts that have set back case reporting and contact tracing throughout the country. The results are often sent in duplicates, lack critical information like patients' phone numbers, and require manual data entry, which increases the risk of errors. So the result of this is that the data is possibly moving even slower than the disease. And right now, the testing in the United States is still not sufficient, as an average of 667,000 people per day were tested for the virus over the past week in the U.S., far below the 1.9 million daily tests considered necessary to tamp down the nation's outbreak. Only 12 states are currently meeting their testing targets. So honestly, we really just need to continue on with the testing, test more people, and as a result, we can reopen faster. And currently, most of the new cases right now that's surging in the U.S. and causing such dire situation in California, which I just talked about, is mainly just the younger population. And I feel like, I mean, if you want to fully reopen and never close down again, I feel like for the younger population, you just need to stay home and just don't go out for now, and then you can go out later. That's it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you.